Welcome back to the Meridian Pursuit Builders Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Sampley, and this is where we sit down with home builders, developers, real estate professionals, and industry leaders who are out there doing the work. You'll hear real conversations about markets, design, mistakes and lessons learned, and how builders can position themselves in a way that brings more customers to the table. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Meridian Pursuit Builders Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Sampley, and today I've got the Travis Braxton from RMB Building and Design out of North Carolina. Travis, you have an incredible reputation online, and I'm excited to finally sit down and talk with you. Let's jump right in. Take me back to the beginning and tell me how you guys got started.
Sure, yeah. So my parents originally came here to Wilmington, North Carolina, our little slice of heaven, 1987. So my dad was working for the developer of a neighborhood that was just starting up here called Landfall. And my mom actually was hired as the first controller of Landfall. So they saw a great opportunity to come here and kind of set some roots. They're from Kinston, North Carolina, and Snow Hill, North Carolina, and I expect absolutely no one to know where that is. It's just tiny little tobacco towns in the middle of nowhere. So they moved here in '87. My dad worked for the developer, and then he had an opportunity once the developer unexpectedly passed away to start his own company with a partner, Old South Building Company, and then they worked all the way as a partnership until 2002. When he's like, we're doing good. My partner's getting a little older, so maybe they can see an exit strategy here, buy them out, and then start my own company. And my mom was working for them at the time as the accountant, controller, CFO, whatever title you want to give it. Basically, the person to keep my dad out of jail. So she's great in that aspect. So I started R&B Building and Design in 2003. So we just did 20 years in 2023. Quickly coming up on 25 years, which is just a blessing. So 2012, I graduated from East Carolina University, construction management degree, and then came on to the team there for management side in 2012. I've been pushing a broom, nailing boards and getting all kinds of cuts, bruises, and all things that make you manly, right, when you're in construction, as I was growing up. So kind of really got the nuts and bolts side of it. Didn't really see much of the management side. My dad just wanted to grind me down just to kind of build me back up, just to really appreciate and understand what everybody goes through on a daily basis. You got to have that appreciation and that respect. I feel like to be able to talk to the homeowner and also talk to the trades. You can be a pretty face in a suit and show up and be all glitz and glam, but not really understand what goes into it. So I think that goes a long way with our guys.
It does. My dad was a home builder, and he did the same thing with me, and it really helped. It helped to see like you said, to appreciate your subs and also to get a more comprehensive view of the whole project. And what we found out really early on was that everything that you do from pouring the slab all the way to the very end of until you get to the sheetrock stage, everything you do is for the sheetrock because it will show in the sheetrock. And he also taught us some good things that I carry on today, even though I'm on a marketing side. Still, it was the work ethic side, and it was let your best work be done in a closet, because even though nobody sees it, you're doing it for yourself. And I thought that was a real strong value that he instilled, which was do this for you, not so much for other people. Other people will come to appreciate that, but it's, you're not just doing this for other people. You're doing this. You're taking pride in your work. Go back to your mom. Has she kept your dad out of jail?
100% success rate. So that's great. So my mom has since retired. We brought Katie in last year, so she's been in a little over a year with us. And so now my mom is eagerly badgering my father to follow suit and get into retirement.
How did you make the transition after you graduate college? How do you make this transition to more of the leadership role in the company?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of a double-edged sword there, where I'm my own person, but I'm trying to follow my dad's practices, principles, and have his respect, but I also need to stand alone. So I think working in the industry, growing up, middle school, high school, a little in college during the summers, A lot of the guys saw me working, so that helped. It took a while though, I think, actually, to get my dad's side to where he was like, okay, you can actually run a project and I can leave you alone. So that took time. I mean, we were still doing really good stuff, and he was kind of letting me fall on my sword a little bit there, but he didn't want me and want the company to fail. So he really wanted to make sure I was set up for success, so that way, the company was set up for success. So really just being in the trenches with the guys, being on the job site, talking with them. If I have questions, don't be afraid to ask, shadow them, figure out why they do it, how they do it. Just be there with them, show them respect, and then, really show my dad, show the client that I know what I'm doing and I'm doing it correctly.
Yeah. How long did that take?
I've been working with him on management since 2012. No, I'd say realistically, the transition probably took 6 or 7 years. And then it just took me being hard, strong footed in the ground and saying, okay, you have your projects, I have mine. I have no issue with you coming, on my jobs, but let me run my job, ask me
Yeah.
questions. Don't point the guys. And it really turned to a lot of success because it showed him that I was able to handle it and be able to push the ball, to be able to take some stress off of him, and then
Yeah.
show him the same respect to where, if I'd go on his jobs and I can say, hey, I saw this, I'm not sure if you saw it. So it really benefited both of us.
What were some of the most challenging things for you, and like things that you had to work through? Was it more the process side? Was it the communication side? Was it handling the subs?
I mean, honestly, it's, as you know, in this industry, every project, every job always has its challenges. We could build the same house 100 times, and every job is going to be different. Every house is going to be different and have its own kind of challenges. But I'd say, kind of on a broad spectrum scale, probably trying to get nailed down on the processes, just because I was so hands on. So I understood the components, how to do it, how to build it, how to deliver a product, but then trying to make sure I'm following the appropriate processes and plans and everything that was laid out for me, just to make sure I'm doing it correctly.
And I'm sure you probably refining as you go along too.
Right,
Just with
inevitably. I mean, it was my mom and my dad, for quite a while before I came in, and just almost having a third or fourth set of eyes on something, kind of see how maybe, hey, let's tweak it a little bit here. Let's try this. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll help. Let's save time if we can. So you're right. It's a true teamwork and family aspect.
yeah. Was your dad a notebook builder, or did he convert to the digital age ever?
No, he can still sit in front of a table, or sit in a table in front of you and draw a house upside down to where you can see exactly what it is. But he truly was pen and paper and everything was here. So trying to extract that data and be able to, understand and peel behind them, because we're blessed in the sense that we're full design built in-house. And he is the one that has designed probably 95% of what we have done in the past 20 some odd years.
Wow. You guys sell your designs?
Currently, no, we're not marketed, but if someone approached us and said, hey, I love this house plan, can I buy it from you? We'd consider it.
Okay.
But
What's your
we're not a full like design company where you're going to come to us and we just design it.
okay? What does your average day look like now?
There is no average day. So we've kind of not grown a tremendous amount, but I mean, it was just me and my mom and dad for quite a while, and then slowly brought on people. So now we're a team of 5. So it's me and my dad on full management side. We have Chris that works under his assistant, and then he's really starting to head up our renovation sector. So I'm trying to mold him to just be able to hand it off and let him run. And then Ava does interior design, client coordinating for us. So really, depending on the day, depending on where we are on projects, how many projects we have going on. But I'd say, major, or the majority of what I do is, verifying our jobs are running on time, on schedule, on budget, making sure materials are ordered appropriately, make sure we're following plans and specs, and then it's okay. Now let's get in the office. Are there sales? Are we following up on calls?
Yeah.
Are we estimating? Are we building proposals and contracts? I mean,
That's
I
a
kind of
huge
did
part of it
everything.
just right there. Just that one thing, just the follow up. And on a sales side, that's a whole position right there.
It is. It is.
I understand what you mean now. An average day, like what in the world?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I try not to be in the office 24/7, but I absolutely could.
Yeah. You mentioned renovations. What's the business look like? How much custom home ratio to renovations are you doing?
Yeah, it definitely depends on the year. COVID actually really opened up just such a realm for us on the renovation side. There were years leading up to COVID where we would maybe hit 30% of our revenue for the year in renovations. We're doing 5 or 6 to maybe 10 with small jobs. But then COVID came around and, like this year, I actually see maybe exceeding our custom side just because with how our market has shifted in the past 5, 6 years to where we've really exploded on the cost of homes and people have realized like, hey, I have so much equity in my home. I love where I live. I just need to tweak a couple things here and there. So
Yeah.
we luckily were set up ahead of COVID on the renovation. So it really flows seamlessly. And then, me and my dad saw, hey, we need to pick up somebody else to help with management as we're working on my dad's exit strategy. So Chris has come on to really kind of help alleviate a lot of load because I was the one handling all the renovations previously because my dad was very comfortable and content doing the new build side. So it really helped me to kind of open up and then spread out my feelers and work on getting additional work.
What kind of renovations were those? Did you have a minimum type of renovation that you would take on?
I say yes and no. So typically the smallest renovation would be a master bath and they're usually starting around 75, 80,000. About 125 to 150 is kind of where we're starting. I have no issue going in and doing smaller projects, but I tell people up front, like, hey, we're going to be expensive for, a little guest bath. So I'd say that's kind of where we're starting.
Yeah. But you're powered by kind of the renovation side is powered by this custom home builder, all the expertise that you bring to the table.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, we're very management heavy with it. We have, technologies and things that we pull from the custom side. And the majority of our trades that work on the custom side work with our renovation
So
as
that's
well.
nice. Have you work with a lot of the same subs for years and years?
We do. Yeah. I mean, some of them 30, 40 years.
Wow. Wow. That's a testament to the management style. Not everybody can say that.
You're right, right. I mean, the biggest thing is you turn a bill in on Wednesday, Thursday, you get your check Friday. So I mean, we
Wow.
look after our guys. That people appreciate it, and we have high standards as long as people understand and we're all doing to that standard, and there's an understanding. Nobody has an issue with it.
Is there anything else you guys did to kind of foster or continue to build that relationship over the years with the subs just to make them feel appreciated?
Yeah, I've tried to kind of like the typical bring them lunch, bring them coffee. Don't tell the homeowners, bring them some beer at the end of the day. Sneak it in their cooler.
Homeowners don't listen to this show, so it's okay. You're safe.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lots of beer, guys.
Yeah. Maybe some bourbon every once in a while.
Yeah, no, I keep that for myself.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Donuts, coffee go a long way in the mornings. Just some pizzas every once in a while, and then yeah, throw some beer, some water, Gatorades in their coolers occasionally. And then every year for Christmas, we always showcase one project we have going on, and we have all the trades that work for us, real estate agents, insurance, past clients. They all come to this house. We usually have 75 to 125 people that'll show up, so they can see the projects. We feed them. Great caterer out of Wilmington, middle of the island. I think the best, honestly. But yeah, so just bring them in and just be able to show off what they're doing to past clients, hopefully future clients, etc.
Is this a parade home or is this another thing you guys
No,
do?
so unfortunately, with kind of the size of the company we are and where our projects end, I mean, we do a parade at home about once every 5 years. We just got to have the
Okay.
right client that'll let us do it and then make sure the project ends on time because we have to have the project has to be closed within 90 days of when the parade starts. So that's hard
Okay.
for us.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, anytime we do a parade at home, I'm reaching out to everybody. It's like, hey, if you have flyers, if you have cards, if you want to be there to talk about your product, please, I'm there Saturday, Sunday for 2 weeks straight. So please come hang out with me, help the monotony,
Yeah.
showcase you, showcase me. But no, yeah, anytime we can do a parade, we're loving to do it.
I bet. What's the local builders association that you're a part of?
So Wilmington Cape Fear Home Builders Association, we are the fourth largest in the nation and
Wow.
the third largest in the state, or second largest in the state. So Charlotte, we're battling. So Charlotte's just big, and then we're battling against Raleigh for kind of that second, third in the state.
Okay.
But yeah, North Carolina's kicking butt with the Home Builder Association. Cannot brag on the Home Builder Association enough. I mean, they're wonderful.
What's the most value you get out of the your local home builders association?
Yeah, so I would say number one, luckily at a local level, we're large, we're involved. We have a lot of good oyster roast, shrimp roast. We do cornhole tournaments, golf tournaments. So we're really involved. So it's really good to be able to see other trade partners and other builders in the industry. We can all just, gripe about homeowners and suppliers costing too much and taking too long. So, but then on the flip side, really good activists and lobbyists for our industry. So, the last one that was up front and center were the tariffs as a whole with the country. They were great to say, hey, you got a tariff on Canada, but Canadian lumber is not going to have a tariff. And they fought for it. So that saved us a tremendous amount of money because we get so many soft goods from Canada, even being from North Carolina, the pine tree state. We're still getting a lot of material from Canada. So just little things like that, helping with housing builds, affordability, materials, tariffs, things of that nature. They're really pushing to make sure that us as an industry is protected. I think that the biggest thing with any home builders association is membership in involvement. If we look at it as, oh, you're my competitor, I don't care about you, I'm not going to look out for you. If you have that mindset, it's not going to succeed. But if you have the mindset of, hey, I don't want all the work in this town, I can't do all the work. Let's come together. Let's try to help each other. Let's feed each other work. If I can't pick something up, like, hey, let me push it in your direction and vice versa.
I think that's more our generation too, right? Is we don't have the scarcity mindset to where we've got to hold all of our cards to ourselves, but it's a lot more of a collaborative experience
Absolutely.
rather than our dads, which were hey, you come to my job site, I'm going to shoot you. Don't be
Right.
looking at, don't be talking to my subs, and don't be walking on my
That's right.
project. It's just
These are
totally
my
totally
guys.
different. Tell me more about how you're working with clients, how you're building good expectations, what the communication channel looks like. That's a big hurdle for some people.
Right. So number one, we try to make it up front that we're going to be communicative, we're active, we're on the job site daily, multiple times a day. If we come across anything, I'd rather head it off. Let's get upset now, but let's create a solution and then we can move forward and push on from there. I mean, if you think about it, we're working together for 12 to 24 months. So there's going to be some some problems, some issues in that relationship. I mean, look at any friendship, look at any marriage. You're not going to be a perfect track record for, a year or two.
Sometimes they don't even last that long.
True. It's just okay. Let's head it off. Let's find a solution. Let's rip that band-aid off per se. So that's just one. We're gonna call, text, email. We're gonna stay up to date. We also use a platform called Buildertrend, which is fantastic. Daily logs, pictures, videos, all of our documents are there. We require our clients to approve selections and change orders physically there. So we have a backup, it's kind of a third check, but they're physically checking it, signing it. And there's also a running budget on there. So it just kind of keeps everything up to date and just really in front of them so they can see how the project's evolving and growing or
Do you
not.
see, do you see customers, do they engage with that? Do they use that platform?
Yes and no. I'd say the ones that are out of town typically will use it more just because they can log in, either daily or every a couple times a week and just see updates and progress pictures, which are, I think, vital. And then the ones that are in town, they're usually on the job a couple times a week, but they're still checking Buildertrend. And it's nice too. We don't have to get that one email like, hey, what was the plumbing fixture I picked out for the powder room? It's like, it's on Buildertrend, and they've kind of learned to go there as a first asset and resource before they're hitting us up, which is fine if they want to let us know or ask a question. We're here, but if we can have a tool that frees us up at 5-10 minutes, that our time is
Yeah.
so invaluable.
When people are in the design stage, everything that they pick out, is all of that getting translated into Buildertrend?
So that's kind of one thing we're looking into. So traditionally, it's been during construction. So we're looking at possibly getting pre-con in as a Buildertrend. So starting the job, right, as soon as we sign, what we have is called a pre-construction services agreement. So we do get a contract signed, a deposit to carry us through the design phase, estimation. So we're talking, roughly about, hey, as soon as we sign a PSA, we're going to start them on Buildertrend, and then we can build a schedule That'll show like, hey, here's our milestones. This is when I need these selections approved. This is when to expect plans. This is when to expect pricing. So we're looking to do that. A couple of builders in my builder group across the country, they utilize that and they see good success because clients can log in and just kind of see those milestones like, hey, 3 weeks. Okay, no problem. But oh crap, Friday, that's
Yeah.
tomorrow. I got to go pick out some cabinets and hardware. So let me go. So it just kind of helps speed things along and keep them on a schedule versus whatever you want to do it. We're
Yeah.
here for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Time can really slip by real fast,
And we
especially.
we all want to be diligent and respect people's time.
Yeah. Um, Tell me more about the communication side. Do you have set communication for different stages, or what does that flow look like?
Yeah. So as a whole, I think our clients, because of the level that we're at, are very involved because this is their dream home. They've worked their entire life to be able to get, or that renovation project. We're in their home all day long. So we're typically communicating, texting, calling, emailing on a daily basis. Aside from that, we do kind of have some milestone points throughout the build. We want to do, some walks during framing. Let's verify bath accessories or grab bars, or is there any additional blocking for TVs or, things of that nature. We can go ahead and get in framing stage, which is very inexpensive at that point.
Yeah.
So we'll do all the trades. So, mechanicals, electricals, plumbings, do all those walkthroughs with the trade on site, physically mark everything. And then, that all goes through. And then I do one more walk before we do drywall with them. So that way they can physically touch, feel, and see everything before we cover it. Because as we know, it's very inexpensive to change it before drywall. But as soon as that board goes up, hey, can we move those cans over a foot? Sure. $1,500 a can. Oh,
Nobody loves
and then,
having that conversation, but
oh my gosh. Yeah, it's nuts. One thing we started doing that's really been helpful the past couple of years is electrical. We seem to have more issues with electrical things. So we'll do our walkthrough. Our electrician will hang all the boxes, cans, and then decorative fixtures that we can locate. So we'll hang all that before we pull wire, and then I'll do a walk with the client so they can physically touch, see, and feel. Because when you do that walkthrough, it's like, sure, there's a box there. Okay, there's some cans up there. But when they physically see it in the place, it really helps.
interesting.
So, because typically, it's okay. Well, we need to adjust the cans here and there. I mean, it'll take 15 minutes of room to adjust some cans if they're already up versus
Yeah.
pulling all the wire. Well, crap, now I'm 2 feet short with my wire whips, and now let me pull it from here to there. So that's really been very beneficial
And you say you do this with the customer?
with the customer.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah,
Just so they can
we'll
help.
do a pre-walk. We'll do a pre-walk with the electrician. They'll hang boxes and cans. We'll do a secondary walk with the customer, and then the electrician sometimes, because they'll usually put these up and then scoot off to somewhere else to finish something up while we're taking the day just to verify, and then they'll
What a
come
great
back and so
idea.
forth.
Yeah, then they can visualize it and they're not,
Exactly.
like you said, you're not having to reroute a wire or something like that because
Exactly.
it's hard to visualize. I mean, even it's
It is.
one thing on a 2D drawing, it's another thing even at the framing stage. It's still a lot to try to visualize all of it complete. I think that's where AI will have a good opportunity, and even ChatGPT has gotten real refined now. In fact,
It has.
we're getting our counters redone now, and we had a stone guy come out yesterday, and just real quick. I mean, he snapped a photo within a couple minutes. He was like, "Hey, here's a quick mock-up of all of the different styles. If you want, this type of granite." I mean, it was minutes. And in my world, I was just like, man, I got to know more about this. I was like, how is this working for you? He's just like, this. He said it wins us a lot of jobs, because people have an issue visualizing, and then they get an estimate. They're looking at numbers. It's so abstract sometimes. Versus if it's like, hey, here's the cost, but here is what you're looking for, and you're not having to do much visualization. I think that's where AI will improve a lot of people's workflow in the real near future.
Especially for just quick and dirty, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's one thing that we offer is our interior elevations, 3D renderings that Ava does for us on our renovations, and that just helps people tremendously because they think they have it in their minds, right? Until you can get it in front of them and see colors and not really touch and feel, but as close as we can get, really, really helps.
Is she doing like virtual walkthroughs too, or is it just
Not yet? More just
pictures?
elevations. I mean, we can do some. I mean, she has full capability with the camera, but typically just showing some elevations and some shots and renderings, just kind of pull it all together.
Yeah, I would love to see with especially AR, to actually visualize the whole home and let them do kind of like a virtual walkthrough with goggles, let them be able
Right.
to experience it all. I think so much of that is getting a lot more accessible. It's getting a lot
It
cheaper.
is. Yeah, that's the
And
biggest hurdle is the cost.
yeah, but it's AI is will change everything. That's why all of this investment, all these huge numbers they keep talking about, for these data centers, is to be able to process that kind of stuff. Will make the cost will get lower, more people use it, whether you like it or not.
It's
It's going to
here.
be here. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
it's already
we're
here.
doing a renovation for a client. She keeps sending me like, "Hey, ChatGPT just showed me what it would look like, and I love it." I'm like, "Okay, great, let's do it." It's not in the original scope, but
At the end of the year, we need a follow up podcast episode that's just what are some of these hurdles that AI, these are now new problems that are probably coming up because people are able, they're sending you things that before it was like, hey, here's a Pinterest photo of a multi-million-dollar home that, maybe just totally different than what they're actually getting. Now
right,
it's not even real. And it's just like, people are putting in the most basic prompts of make this look cool.
right. It's like, boom, there it is. It's like
Yeah, and there it is, and it's like perfect. I
awesome.
want that. How much is that? And it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's not even in the ballpark.
right. Thanks, chat, for saying the kitchen remodel is $20,000.
Yes, and it will lie to you. Right now,
Oh, yes, it will.
it's basically an HGT show, to where it's like, oh, you can get this for $1.99. It's like, nope, that is $9 a square foot. I don't know where
Correct.
you got that info, but it is incorrect.
Well, we only spent $200 on this faucet. Yeah, because they coach you an $800 discount to advertise on your show. Like, come on, guys. And the plumber put it in for free.
Exactly. In exchange for a shout out on his YouTube video.
Right, exactly. You got it. Yeah, I'd say that's a bigger hurdle on the renovation side than the new construction. I think kind of as a whole, people understand the square foot cost for new construction, but square foot cost when it comes to renovation, just
Yeah,
it's just so dependent on the scope.
yeah, and the scope I'm sure changes a lot too.
We
As
never have scope creep. Come on now.
of course not.
Yeah, it's just a rolling ball of, hey, we're here. You want us to do it?
Yeah, yeah. It's easy to make those decisions. It's like, hey, if we're already here,
Exactly.
we might as well. But where do you
That's right.
stop?
Just tear the house down and build a new one. I'm all in. Let's go.
That's right. Well,
Very
tell
rewarding.
me, you're a certified green professional. Tell me
Hmm.
what that means and how you're using it today.
Right. So with that, we got the designation from the National Association of Home Builders. So that required about a week's worth of classing with the test, and it really kind of opens your mind up to the building science and principles of renewability, sustainability, and then trying to work that with the realization of affordability. So it's, hey, we might spend $2,500 more on an HVAC unit to go from a 14 and a half to an 18 SEER variable speed versus a two stage. But then, okay, that might be a shock. But now let's look on the delta. When are we going to see that return? What's the
Mhm.
longevity of the product? How much more comfortable and environmentally friendly can we be with this product? That's kind of where it's okay. Let's look for things like that. So it's the spray foams versus fiberglass versus rock wool. Let's build with 2x6 walls instead of 2x4 walls. So let's be mindful of, hey, if we bring in our equipment inside the home envelope versus outside, the equipment's going to last longer and be more efficient in the long term. In our environment, we deal with a lot of crawl spaces. So it's, do we want a sealed crawl versus a raised slab versus a not sealed crawl? So how do we deal with that to create that building envelope that we want to call it to really benefit the homeowner in the long run?
Are you seeing that you're having to be the guide to these customers? The customers aren't coming to you asking for some of these sustainable options?
I would say as a whole, our clients are very knowledgeable already. I mean, they're realizing that, we're already at a certain level with price. Okay, so with that, I think is an expectation that we're going to be getting better equipment, more green, more efficient, more sustainable stuff. So I think they have a base knowledge, but then from there, it's okay, well, let's figure out where you want to be with your sustainability, your green products, and let's kind of show you what our standard is. Let's bridge the gap or exceed it. So it's, just a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of learning. And then on the flip side, it really forces us to stay knowledgeable and up to date in the industry as a whole. So that way we can then in turn help our clients.
Yeah. What are some of those standards that you guys hold?
Yeah. So with a crawl space, we're closed crawl. So that way we can really condition and contain what we have there. We're using 2x6 exterior walls so we can have more insulation. We're sealing all penetrations to the exterior. We're using a better efficient glass and window and door package. And we're caulking and sealing bottom plates, top plates for air leakage. We really prefer spray foam over a fiberglass. We understand there's a budgetary constraint, and so we'll definitely work with you. If it is a fiberglass house, I personally like to go in with a can of foam and just any penetration, any hole, any missed nail, I'm in there, I'm popping it, I'm sealing it just to help the client in the long run. They'll never see it. That's kind of to your point. You're in the closet doing this practice just because your expectations on yourself and what you want to give. No one may never see it, but they're going to see it on their energy bill. So think things of that nature.
And it's important to communicate that stuff too, so that they know that what really goes into it, because those are also the things that they tell other people. And part of the referral is, yeah, it's one thing to say, man, these guys were great to work with, but it's a step further to say, this is what these people did that was a step beyond, like, I've never even heard of this. This guy was going around with a spray foam canister that was, it was just, I had no idea because I wasn't on site, but they're telling me this. They're telling me the reasons why this is beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
It's just another nugget of, like, a trust nugget. It's another
True.
thing
No,
for
true.
them to,
Yeah,
and that stuff really compounds over
It
years.
does. And I finished a project for a client 8 years ago. It was one of the least expensive homes we've ever done, but he was a great guy. And he still, every time he sees me, he says, Travis, my 2,300 square foot house, my energy bill's never been $180, and it's because of you. I know you went in there and sealed it up good, and you personally made sure. I was like, thank you, Mr. John. I appreciate it. That's awesome, and I'm jealous your energy bill is so low. So you're right. It is a marketable thing, and it's something we discuss with clients. As a broad spectrum, it's like we're here to to look after you and to give you that comfort level.
Yeah. On an insulation side, are you doing a hybrid spray foam and fiberglass?
So the only time we really do a hybrid, we don't do like a flash and bat or a flash and sill, like some people do. We found if we're there foaming, we're just going to foam it, unless we do a roof deck foam and a fiberglass wall. That seems to be kind of the affordability from a fiberglass to a foam, but they can't quite go foam. Then we'll do fiberglass walls from roof decks. From what the building science says, your 60 to 70% of your energy is lost in your roof deck. Just by hitting it there, then you're looking after yourself in the long run. And if we put our HVAC equipment or water heaters or anything of that nature in the attic, then we're conditioning it. And even just dumping a little bit of that fresh air into the attic space will help kind of keep the air movement, not let it get stale. Yeah, so a little bit of a hybrid, but not like a true flash and bat, flash and fill like I know some people do in different climates.
Now, you said, this is switching topics a little bit, but you said you guys do your own designing in-house. Also saw New South Interiors. You do the interior design also on your homes?
So yes and no. Saw an opportunity for Ava being an interior designer to be able to start New South Interiors. Started that about 3 years ago now. It allowed for her to be able to bring in some other supplies and materials to be able to offer our clients versus what necessarily some of our normal vendors can do. So really it's kind of curtailed towards our clients currently that don't have an interior designer versus a true interior design company where we're bringing in clients separately than what our builds can do that.
Because you're seeing your customers are already coming to the table with the design, with an interior designer. You guys are there to bring the vision to life.
I would say ish. It seems like how we prefer it is, hey, engage us first. Let us work through the design of the home. And then when it comes to like the overall fit, finish, and soft goods side, now let's bring in an interior designer. We want to be kind of that boutique shop, right? Where idea to keys. That's kind of where we want to be. And then during that design process, as we're working through the plans and such, okay, now let's look, do you need an interior designer? Are you comfortable doing it yourself? And then, we can come in and help assist, on really any needs that you have.
Okay. Yeah, and it's an easy fit, because so much of the build construction side, goes right hand in hand with some of the interior design.
It
Little
does.
pockets here that maybe it's having to be done later, but just having all of that stuff in house, it seems like people get a better experience just by having it all in under under one
Exactly.
roof. No pun intended.
No, no, yeah, absolutely. We want to build that roof.
Well, tell me, let's transition a little bit to the marketing side. What do you think sets you guys apart in your market from other builders, and has that been a deliberate choice?
Yeah, so I think traditionally as a whole, we've allowed our company and our product to drive our marketing. So we've been primarily word of mouth just because we've been rooted here so long. We have kind of the history here and people know the name and it's driven us. But, as the digital age, I would say, I mean, it's kind of a weird way to say it, social media, digital things of that are evolving. We definitely noticed that, like, hey, we got to get in this game. Yes, it's great that we have word of mouth, but we were starting to see an influx, especially COVID, where so many people were coming into town that didn't know anybody or anything. They were like, hey, I can work from home. Let's start looking at coastal towns that are affordable. And they're like, hey, Wilmington, Wrightsville Beach, killer spot. So let's go there. And they just either will buy a piece of land or buy a house. And then they're just like, hey, real estate agent person, what's a builder? What's a renovator? Part of our struggle then was, okay, now we got to switch from we're word of mouth, good old boys in little Wilmington to, okay, our town's getting a little bigger. So now we need to start pushing. From that, just started kind of hitting the pavement, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, never really successful, YouTube or X or Twitter or anything like that.
And
And
this is
then
organic social media, or is this paid
no,
ads?
so organic for the most part. It was really me. I was taking videos, taking pictures and kind of posting as I had time. I tried paid ads. I felt like I just kind of spent some money and didn't really see any returns. And what I understood was, SEOs was content, 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 post, post, post. But now, as probably you're aware of, the SEOs aren't necessarily as important as content and trying to figure out, how do we reach people. Um,
Yeah, it's all together now. It's
it
it's
right.
not as fragmented, and AI has kind of brought all of those pieces together.
It
Because
has.
even years ago, it was if you Googled something that you posted on Facebook wouldn't show up in a Google result, but now it does. And, you Google something and it's an X post, it's a YouTube video, it's everything, and
It
then
is.
your AI summary is now pulling everything that it has access to and giving you a short snippet to say, hey, here's exactly the answer that you're looking for. So
For
if you're
better or
moving
worse.
to the, yeah, for better or worse, yeah, you better be buttoned up because it's going to show people that, you know, best home builders in the Wilmington area. Who's it going to pull from? Well, it's going to pull from the people that have put the most effort into it. And that's what we saw too, was that there was a lot of people that had been around for 40, 50 years that, man, they were invisible. And it's just like, it didn't look like they had booked a job in 50 years or that they never even existed. And it was, some of the people that the older companies that didn't have a second generation that were coming in, they're like, hey, it doesn't matter, I'm already kind of at the end of the retirement stage anyways, I'm almost there. But those that were trying to hand it over, there's a bit of a frustration of just kind of being behind the ball a little bit and being like, man, we've got such a local presence, physically, but when you go to look us up online, we look like it's amateur hour. It looks like we have never built a home in our life because our website's from the 80s and we look broken.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the website's a huge thing. Really, I mean, everybody can dump 25 grand in a spectacular website, but if nobody goes to your website and can find your website, to your point, you just threw some money in the ground, lit it on fire, and buried it.
Yeah.
So part of it is, okay, let's have a good website that delivers our point, that's clean, that's polished, but also we need to spend some money on the social media side, and really make sure we're pumping out good content. because we were really in a couple magazines every year, which was expensive in my opinion.
Yeah.
Last year, I kind of saw kind of where the monies were going, and we weren't really getting return on investment. So I'm like, okay, we're going to cut this and let's just pump it in social media and see how it's done. And I mean, this past year, I feel like our presence on social media, I mean, we've grown. Gosh, she just showed me the analytics. I think 40% presence as a whole has increased in 1 year, which I mean,
Wow.
that's huge to me.
Is that across all social channels or is that mostly Instagram?
So, I mean, the analytics were pulled, I think, from Instagram, but it's, Instagram, Facebook. Just now, in the past 2 months, started getting her to post to LinkedIn just to kind of push out to a more professional network. So that way, people that actually have money and work can see the projects and the product that we're doing. So really, still nothing like paid marketing aside from we did engage with a social media person that's doing our content and our posts. But yeah, nothing like a marketing team that's then pushing SEO stuff or
Yeah.
key phrases on Facebook
This
or Google
this
or
is
anything like that.
this is what we focus on, which is like you said earlier, your website is the base and then everything else is really distribution channels. So if you kind of view it as a campaign to say, I want all of the horses to lead to the website, it makes it kind of lays out your plan a lot more naturally to say, hey, the end result is that they're going to come to the website and they're either going to fill out a form, they're going to get some sort of a lead magnet, 2026 builder designs or something like that. But this is where we're going to house all of our data, because you also, some people, and this, I think this is a huge mistake, is they're building their business on these different social channels, but it's very unpredictable because you don't know if your account could get banned, it could get blocked. Your
True.
website, you own everything.
Right.
It's, you have the domain. So let all of that other stuff kind of be cheerleaders that are out there that are garnishing attention, but all of it should come back. And it helps for the appropriate types of content you put out too. If it's a Facebook or a TikTok or an Instagram video, you know, you as a builder could do something to just drive more awareness, and that may be, dancing on the job site. It could be whatever. That's appropriate. Is it appropriate on a website? Probably not.
No.
But if it's just like, hey, I just need some quick attention and I'm kind of driving this attention somewhere with purpose, then you have a reason for it, because it means nothing if it's like, I've got a million views on this really funny reel that we posted. And it's like, okay, what did it translate to? Well, nothing, because, it was just picked up because a lot of people were viewing it, but it didn't translate to anything.
Yeah, and that's kind of part of what my goal is this year. It's more of let's get off the content we had previously, so just pictures and some video snippets of past projects under, to okay, I got to get in front of the camera more, and I got to show my face, and I need to talk and show, teach as many people as I can engage, so then they can say, oh, R&B, this guy Travis actually may know a little bit about what he's saying. So hey,
Yeah.
my uncle, Bill is thinking of moving to Wilmington and buying a house or building a house. Let me push this to him to show him that, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that's kind
actually
of the hope for this year.
I actually talked to a builder out in Arizona a couple weeks ago, and they said that they were getting referrals from real estate agents that followed them on social media, on Instagram, and was referring work to these guys. And they said we had never even met these people. So they were, yes, they were still getting organic referrals, but they were virtual referrals. So that's the beauty of it too, is that it kind of creates a snowball of, yes, your immediate audience is going to see this, but it's also going to go beyond that, and people are going to say, hey, yeah, in the Wilmington area, yeah, these are the guys to go to. You'll be
Right.
getting these referrals like, I don't even know who referred you, but I mean, like, I don't even know these people. But that's the beauty of social media, is that, just like you and I in this conversation, we can interact with each other. We're in two totally different states, yet, you can build trust very easily when get on camera, talk, communicate, share some knowledge. It doesn't have to be rocket science or anything real complicated. Definitely not real polished, and people, will relate to you real quickly. because it's like, hey, I feel like I'm interacting with this person the same I would if I just walked up to the job site and started talking to this person.
Yeah, I mean, I think our industry as a whole is a little, stereotyped or has a stigma to it that it's just this bubba dude that's trying to rip you off and take you for all you're worth. But in reality, we're normal people. We're trying to make a little bit of money, and we just want to connect with you on a personal level. Like, let's have an honest conversation. It doesn't have to be so serious. Yes, you're paying me a lot of money. I get it, but let's just be people. Let's just talk. Let's have a serious conversation. And that's kind of how I approach a lot of this is yes, there's times like, hey, let's get the nuts and bolts. Let's get hard and fast on it. But also let's keep it light. Let's keep it friendly. Let's keep it
Yeah.
familiar. And that
You're
really helps people.
you're responsible for a large portion of someone's life, and
Absolutely.
you're basically managing that for them and facilitating it for them. So it's not an easy task. I think it's maybe it's an undervalued perception that people have, is like, oh, this person's just calling the subs come and do every,
Right.
it's a lot more than that. And I think that's where the value of communication comes to show everything, because if you never talk to anybody and you don't tell them what you're doing, they just assume you're not doing anything.
True. Yeah. It's like, well, I haven't heard from Travis in 2 weeks. Like he's
Yeah, I
asking
guess
for
you just
money. Is he doing anything?
yeah. And the only communication that they do here is, hey, your payment's coming up or something. You never want
Right.
that. It's like,
No.
no, there's a lot more that's happening. But if you don't communicate it, like I said, they they're just assuming that if it's quiet on their end, it's quiet on your end, even if you're extremely busy and
Right.
proactive.
And sometimes no news is not always good news.
That's right. But own it and get through it.
Oh,
And I think
yeah.
there's another builder in Kentucky, and they said, we always did right by our clients. We didn't always make them happy. And I thought that was a real thing that they said, which was, yes, we had problems, but we worked through those problems. They're in a small town, and reputation was everything to them, because they would bump into their customers. They'd been around for 40 years. They bumped into them, at Lowe's and Home Depot and restaurants and events. And they said, even though we had to work through a real challenging portion of the build, we still did right by you. And they saw that, after the fact.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Any other softwares that you guys are using besides Buildertrend?
So for our design side, we're using Chief Architect. We've really appreciated and enjoyed the 3D aspect of it, and just being able to do our renderings. We're kind of old school and still kind of dinosaur age, where people laugh at me, but I use Excel for my estimation. I use a lot of pen and paper for my estimation and working through it. We hand take off everything off a set of plans, and then we are the ones that we create our takeoff list and we push it to people. We're not the type of people's like, hey, here's a set of plans, send me some numbers, which are subs, obviously they're going to handle that. But as far as materials, sticks and bricks, we're going to count them up, every stick, every brick, and we're going to send it out. But Buildertrend is our primary tool. I mean, Buildertrend is really working itself. I feel like I'm an advertisement right now, but we've been in for like 11 years. So, I mean, I've kind of been in it
Wow.
from towards the beginning, but really management, schedules, selections. You can run estimates. I thought it was a little clunky for my needs, but a lot of people do it with success. All documents, change orders, pre-con, post-con, warranty. I mean, so it really is kind of an all-in-one tool for us to be able to use with our client.
Who are some people that you drive inspiration from? CEOs, podcasts, books.
Yeah, I'm a really bad person to ask this question. So as a whole, I'm not huge on social media. I was big, and then I kind of unplugged probably 3 years ago. So I really kind of got unplugged and just stayed and focused on kind of what we're doing, and it's been great. I try to lean on people. So I am in a builder group. So I kind of mentioned it earlier. So there's 20 of us across the country. We started out through the NAHB, National Association of Home Builders. They had Builder 20s, and our group was number one. We were the first ever group that was built. So we kind of we ran that for a long time, and then we decided we were going to break away and start our own group. So I am in my second year of that. I mean, my peers, which I am one of the younger members as a second gen coming in. I was very honored to be elected as this. So 2 year kind of tenure to help guide us through. So we meet twice a year, and really it's like a board of elders. I mean, we open up everything: books, documents, contracts, customer complaints, our complaints, pipeline issues, selection or vendor selections, materials, whatever. So spring we do financials, fall it's everything else. So there's 20 of us across the country, all different markets, non-competes. The closest one to us is Charleston, uh, and probably New York, Pennsylvania. So yeah, it's a great group. I mean, really, it's like if I come across a new material, I come across a client that wants to use a specific contract, I can be like, hey guys, has anybody seen this? They're like, boom, here you go. Here's the contract we use in this exact same situation. Take my letterhead off, put it on there, run it by your lawyer, make sure it meets North Carolina standards. So,
Nice.
I mean, it's super invaluable.
Like a builder's mastermind.
Absolutely. So, I mean, these guys, I mean, I'm not exaggerating when there's probably 1,000 years of experience in this room. I mean, I think we're up to 7 or 8 of the 20 companies now that have second gen. So, I mean, some of these
Wow.
guys have been building 50, 60 years.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's just so invaluable. So I really pull a lot of inspiration from those guys just because they've been successful. Some of the guys are startups from nothing. Some are, super big social media influencers. They'll be at the International Builder Show speaking and hosting things. So just wonderful guys and gals.
Well, tell me, what's the future of R&B look like?
Yeah. So with R&B, I think number one is slow acquisition for me to kind of take over my father's portion of the company. We're 50-50 right now. We're true partners in this. So we really have a family dynamic. We're small. I don't foresee myself as an owner, as a company growing much larger than where we are. Maybe 1 or 2 more people. I like the intimate setting that we have, the family atmosphere that we have as a company, and what that offers our clients. They know from day one everybody's name, everybody's face. They're meeting them, and that's the person that they're going to be dealing with. This is the team you're dealing with for 2 years. And I think that's invaluable. So, just trying to work with my dad on transition, with him going to retirement, contract work, if my mom will let him. I'm also under the influence that if I can hire and keep my dad, I can be like, here you go, about face, walk away. And I know he's going to do a fantastic job, deliver a high quality product,
Yeah.
and it be profitable. And you can't put a price on that. I mean, you can't trust everybody, right? And I can't say enough about that, right?
Yeah. That's really,
But that's kind of where I see. I mean, I really enjoy the custom side. I really enjoy the renovation side. Both of them have their challenges, and I like my brain to be challenged in different ways. I hate doing the same thing twice. I hate being in an office 24/7. And that's the blessing with construction, is that we're not. We're in the field, we're with people, we're selling, we're building, we're making. And then with that, I'm reaching out now because I know the writing's on the wall that I'm going to be losing my father at some point, with a construction side, not as a person. He's not, dying. So, I mean, I'll be losing that asset. So now it's okay. Well, now let me reach out to architects, draftsmen, and start that relationship. So that's what I started doing. Fourth quarter of last year, started engaging with some architects and draftsmen in town, and have really started some good relationships, and have some opportunities to do some projects for them, because I want to keep design build under our envelope. So, I mean, ideally, in a perfect situation, I engage with the client, and then I say, okay, I know I have these 3 architects, I think you're going to be a better fit with this architect here. So now let me grab that architect, bring him in, so that way I can bring my construction knowledge with that kind of artistic side, to where we can deliver a really beautiful product to make sure it's buildable.
yeah. How many homes is that a year?
So depending on the year, we're 2 to 4, and then renovations run anywhere from now 7 or 8 to 15, just depending on the scale. So, like I say, we're smaller. Our revenue, is anywhere from 5 to 8 million, just depending on the year.
Yeah.
And luckily, we're blessed in the kind of where we are in the marketplace, that the majority of our clients are pulling loans, construction loans, to be
Yeah.
able to do. We had a lot of clients, though, when it was 3%, 2.5%. They're like, I'm pulling a loan. I'm taking, the
Why not?
1.5 I was going to put in this. I'm putting it in the market. They
Yeah.
made 10%. They paid
Yeah.
their loan off. Like, thanks, Travis. We walked away at 75 grand positive and we got a house. It's like, I got paid
Exactly.
too. We're good.
Exactly.
So it's like, you want to start that renovation now with all that money you just made? But yeah, that's definitely a hurdle. It's, how can people adequately spend money? The affordability side. I mean, I think that's a big issue in our country as a whole. I mean, we saw prices of homes skyrocket during COVID, and it's very challenging for, even myself. If I look when I was, 24, 25 coming into the industry, I couldn't afford to buy a house right now just because of where the interest rates are, and then, what the salary ranges are. So it's tough. There's definitely some inequality there. So it's challenging.
Travis, this was great. Thank you for the conversation. I'm looking forward to following you guys, your journey, and
Absolutely.
hopefully we'll see you in Orlando.
Well, yeah, we're going to make it happen. All right.
Yeah, for sure. All right, that's a wrap for this conversation. If you know someone who should be on this podcast, send us an email at info@meridianpursuit.com and nominate them. We're always looking for great stories to share. And if you got something out of this episode, please leave us a quick review on the show. And if you're watching on YouTube, tap like and subscribe so we can share this with more people. I'm Jesse Sampley. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next one.